Welcome to building your personal brand and becoming an influencer. I know some of you probably heard what a personal brand is. Do you know how to build one? Most importantly. And if you have answered no to either of those questions that I've asked, then this workshop is definitely for you. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for taking your time out and joining me. So, if you want to stand out from the competition and attract new clients, you're going to have to build a strong personal brand. And by doing that, if you're an entrepreneur, you definitely need to be devoting some of your time, at least every week, to building your personal brand. And we're going to get more in depth into that. Me, firsthand, I could say that your personal brand can definitely take your business to places that you never thought possible. At first, I didn't really take too much time into building my brand. I thought that it was just, people trying to get you to join affiliate marketing or just a bunch of bogus stuff. But as I started doing my research and building my own personal brand, I found out that it definitely boosts your business and takes it to places that you maybe never thought that would be possible. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't know how to build a personal brand. And to that, this workshop is going to allow you to avoid those limiting beliefs of you saying that, oh, I can't do this or it takes too much time. It's just a waste of time. I'm going to show you how important it is and also show you the steps to build you what a personal brand is, why you need one, and also give you a step-by-step guide on how to build it. I'll leave some links in the description. There'll be a website checklist and also a social media checklist for you to download and fill out building worksheet. This helps you to identify your core brand as well as your unique service proposition. Who am I? And I know y'all probably like, who is this lady trying to tell us something about a personal brand? So my name is Shereitta. I'm a passionate web designer. I'm also a virtual assistant, business consultant, podcast host, and author. I'm known for my ability to help people overcome their overwhelm and get out of their own way. I'm in my zone of genius when I can talk about tech and teach you basically everything I know and help you overcome your goals and obstacles. First thing first, let's ensure we're all on the same page about what a personal brand is. You can tell me in the comments and give me your description of what you think a personal brand is. Definitely emphasize that a personal brand is much more than a flashy logo or a color pattern. It goes beyond having your name on a t-shirt or just saying, I'm a business and you created a logo. It's more a personal brand. It's not just having a website. It's just so much more than having the basic thing. Personal brand is basically how you present yourself to your ideal audience. It's your image you put forth to people. It's what you stand for. It's basically how you present yourself to your customers when you're on and offline. The things that you do, it triggers and it also can make or break your brand. Your personal brand is basically your values, your skills, your experience, the stories, your personality, the things that you put out into the world. It's your image. Always how you carry yourself on and offline. And we all have the tools to build a powerful personal brand. You're a personal brand right now, but have you been doing the work and the things that it takes in order to take your brand to the next level? The crucial question is whether you're actively taking control of your brand. Always better when you're in control of the process of your brand, and you're going to have a personal brand whether you want to or not. So everything you share online, every email you send, every blog post you write, every event you post, that's all part of your personal brand. And people basically critique you off of that, or it shapes it, and it shapes the way people think about you. So be mindful of the things that you're doing when you're like out and about and you're at events or you're hosting an event or you're doing business with people. Make sure that you have yourself and your brand in mind, or how you're conducting yourself. How do you actively build a personal brand? I know you're asking, why am I here? Why am I going to take this 30 or this 45 minutes, Shereitta, with you to figure out what is a personal brand? And how am I going to get in control in the process? And how can you ensure me that you're going to help me and give me the steps to building this? So here's the reality of this. Every entrepreneur, every person that's trying to build a business needs to be actively building their personal brand. It doesn't matter if you're not a big name, if you're not a Fortune 500 company, you build yourself up to that point. Don't think because you're not popular or you're not popping that, hey, ain't nobody going to be worried about me. Or, I mean, if you're trying to build a business of any sort, you need to be building your own personal brand. Your personal branding, it also allows you to stand out from your competition. So a lot of people are like, it's really no point in starting certain things or trying to build yourself as a brand because the market is saturated. The market is saturated when it comes to certain businesses, but you're also you. Everybody brings something different to the table. Everybody may have the same type of business or maybe marketing the same type of business, but we're all different. Your personal brand enables you to uniquely stand out from your competition. And if you're building your brand and following these steps, you'll find out along the way how you'll be able to stand out from the competition and what steps you need to take. Your brand, your values, your expertise, all of those are a story that are going to set you apart from your competition. So don't be scared to start building your personal brand at all. And your competition, your competitors, they can't bring what you bring to the table. That's what we all have to start realizing when we start in a business or starting a side hustle. They're not you and they can't bring what you bring to the table. So never be scared to start. They simply don't have what you have to offer. We're all unique and we all have different values and different things that we bring to the table. What do you have when you sit back and you think about what's different about you from someone else who may be doing the same thing or trying to brand themselves as the same? You have different experiences, you have different strengths, different beliefs, different perspectives, different skills, different insights, and all of those help you to bring value or bring something different to your business and to your brand. Building your personal brand, it allows you to highlight and what your uniqueness is. That is what helps you to stand out. It allows you to capitalize off of your strengths. It allows you to basically highlight the best parts of you because that's what it'll be focused on. Everything will be focused on you. And as you work to highlight those strengths, it distinguishes you from your competitors. So it gives you a distinct competitive advantage. I want you to think about Rolex and how they set themselves apart from the competition. And because they focus on being exclusively like a luxury watch brand, they set themselves apart from other watch companies. Rolex is one of those brands that you want a luxury watch. That's the first thing that people think about is a Rolex, right? When everybody make it big or they start making money, the first thing they go and cop is a Rolex. You haven't made it if you haven't purchased a Rolex. And while the Timex or like a Walmart brand watch, those are for those who want a sturdy and relatively inexpensive watch, but they know that they're paying for something that is going to last. So by working relentlessly to build their brand like Rolex, they've distinguished themselves from other watch companies like their luxury. So you know when you buy that Rolex or you purchase that Rolex, you get in luxury and you get in the quality. So that's basically how you want to set yourself apart from everybody else. That you're just your brand, you know, you can't get this nowhere else. They know that when they come to you or they come and they shop with or come get a service from your business that they're getting the brand that you've put out there or that you've built to work hard for and advertise. So your personal branding also allows you to charge a premium price like Rolex. This is like the cost of a Rolex cost. Thousands of dollars. So anybody that purchases a Rolex for anything under that it's not real. It's kind of like a Folex. The more you work to build your personal brand, the greater the edge like you'll have over your competition. And it also allows you to charge a premium price. They can't come to you and be like, hey, she's charging such and such for this service, but hey, I'm a Rolex. I could charge that. I built this brand. My product, my service, it speaks for itself. My brand speaks for itself. So they're willing to pay that. And because you bring unique value to the table, they're not going to mind you charging those premium prices or you charging the things that you charge for that price. Because after all, you're offering something that can't be found anywhere else, and your services are only offered by you. They can't go down the street to a bootleg or a copy version of you. They may pay a cheaper price, but they can't get that same value. They can't be purchased at another store from another person. Your service, your products, it can't be purchased from somebody else. That's kind of like why Nike can charge so much for their shoes. And just like sometimes we have conversations inside of networking groups or with other business owners, like you want to be treated the same way as if a person goes into the store and pays for a pair of Nikes or a pair of Jordans. They're going to pay that premium price for those shoes because that brand has built a name for themselves over the years. Jordans are lasting shoes, they're popular. You're paying for the name or that brand. You're not paying really for the quality or the look of it. They could come out with the same shoe every year, the same color, different, same pattern, just a different color. You're gonna buy it because it's a Jordan, that brand. The stronger your brand, the more people want your services. The more people want your services, the higher the price you can charge. This is exactly why Nike, Rolex, Mercedes, they're able to charge so much more for their products and their services because they've spent years building their brand into like a powerhouse. So when people hear that name or something new comes out on the market, you got people stand in line for hours at a time to pay for a pair of shoes or to get into a venue to see a service like Tony Robbins. I'm going to get into him later. Like it just allows you to charge so much more for your services upon the brand and the name that you built for yourself. I talked about how personal branding highlights your expertise, which is every piece of content that you share, everything that you share online. When you start building your brand down to the posts that you post on social media, you're able to start getting paid for those things. If you do a blog post, you write articles, companies pay you to partner with them because you built your brand and you have a strong, a following. And you don't have to have thousands and thousands of followers. Like I started off with like 500 and something initially, and now I have over like 5,000 on each of my social media pages. It's to the point where I've had companies start reaching out to me about partnering with them or co-branding with certain products because of how I built my personal brand. As someone who really knows what they're talking about, as a thought leader in your arena, you want to establish yourself as an expert in your field. Like whether you're doing hair, you're doing nails, you're a bar, whatever field that you're in, you want to establish yourself as an expert in your field. When people think about something or they have the smallest little issue, they already know who to call because hey, they're like, hey, she knows her stuff, or he can give me tips on this. And the information that you're sharing or the brand that you're putting out there, people are going to listen because you either know your stuff, you're an expert in that field, or your brand is just that strong. You want to demonstrate your knowledge and your insight to who's watching you, like your audience, clients, whatever you like to call them. You're always proving how much value you offer and that you're the go-to person in your industry. That's what I mean when I say you want to establish yourself as an expert in your field. Like you're that go-to person. Like I said, they already know who to call if they have a question or a problem about anything. And no matter if you charge $25, $35 to $100 for a consultation, whatever it may be, they're going to pay that because they know that you know what you're talking about and you're up on your skills. So the more you demonstrate your expertise, the more your audience is going to trust you and they're going to come to you to solve their problems. So the more value you share, the more it shows people that you know exactly what you're talking about and looked at as an expert. The more you demonstrate your expertise, the more your audience is going to trust you and come to you and solve problems. It's like a chess or a checkers game. You know the right pieces. The more value you share, the more it shows people you know what you're talking about. So now we're going to dive into part 4. And this is talking about how personal branding allows you to attract your ideal audience. So you're not always posting, struggling with what you're going to post, or when you do post things, you're not worried about who's going to like it or if people are seeing it. When you're posting it, you're going to attract the type of people who are looking for the services that you offer or your brand in general. When you're known as an expert in your industry, it attracts your ideal clients, your ideal audience, the people who need your help the most, the people who want to know about the services that you offer. You get more referrals from others in your industry and in related industries. Maybe a person that you know, y'all may be in the same field, but you may offer a service that they don't offer because your brand is so strong, you've networked and you've built that powerhouse brand. You're going to get those referrals and people are going to send people to you. And you can charge a premium price, the kind of price that only an expert like you can charge. And they're not going to complain about, hey, it's too high and I can go somewhere else and get something cheaper, or I can go to somewhere else. They can't. They can, but they can't get what you give, or they can't get the service, or they can't get the value that you offer. So like I said earlier, I was going to jump in and talk about Tony Robbins. He's a prime example of what I'm talking about, like a personal brand. So for years, he's been sharing the same message of self-empowerment. Same thing over and over again. This man has built like a multi-million-dollar business. But doing this, like he's like a mentor to me. I watch a lot of the stuff and do a lot of the trainings that he has. Everything he says, every video he puts out, every book he writes, the same brand message. You can develop that into a powerful message, or you that powerful person, and I can help you to do that. Tony Robbins has established himself as a go-to person in the self-development arena. He attracts huge audiences of people who come from all over the world. Like, people spend between $700 to $1,000 to go sit and listen to this man talk. Like, just talk. And millions of people read his books. They follow him on social media, and he can charge a premium price for his services. Have I went to a Tony Robbins experience yet? No, I like to. Would I spend that money to travel to go and see it? Yes, I would, because I feel like it could help my brand. Have you ever thought about other powerful entrepreneurs that are out there that may be in the self-development field, the hair industry? Owner Brothers, I was watching a TV show about that the other day. They're a personal brand that they built, and that's strong. People travel from all over the world to go see that. When you say Broner Brothers or you hear that name, people are paying for those tickets to go to those shows because they know that the experience, the show, the message, whatever they're selling or that they're advertising, that brand is selling, they're going to pay for that because they know what experience they're going to get when they go to these events. As we noted earlier, your personal brand will evolve whether you want it to or not. You use social media, you have an email list, you have a blog, you're a speaker, you record, you share videos, you whatever you do, you have a personal brand that you're building. The question is, though, whether you're intentionally building this personal brand or not, like I mentioned before. So in other words, are you carefully determining exactly what your brand is all about, or are you letting it happen in like a kind of fly by day kind of thing? Like, if it happens, it happens. As I'm building my clientele, they'll put the word out there for me, it'll build. Or are you thoughtfully like thinking about your brand, how you can build it and how you can let it evolve into its own? And are you the one crafting Or do you think about people's opinion about you, or are you sort of just, I deal with a situation as it happens, or are you consistently trying to build your brand and being conscious of the things that you're putting out? One of the things that I like about personal branding is the beauty of it is when you have intent and you're building something with intent, it's your personal brand. It ensures that you're actively shaping like how you want it to go. You're not just letting it just go by. Like I said, like you're not waiting to see what someone else is doing with their brand, or you're not waiting for yourself to get bigger or to gain more followers or to do a couple more videos before you start doing it. You're actually doing it on your own. With every social media post that you share, every blog post, everything that you send out, every customer that you come in contact with, everything that you do, you're shaping your personal brand on a daily basis. Personal branding, it increases your visibility. The more you build your personal brand, the more people see you. So say you start doing certain things and people are tagging you, you're getting big companies to start liking or also resharing your posts. It attracts people, it attracts more clients to you. You get more people reaching out to you, inquiring about your services or the things that you do. Those people in turn will share your content to people that they think that may be of interest to it. The more content that gets shared, the more people that you'll attract, the more clients you'll attract. So the more your name is out there, the more you're sharing your stuff, the more you're on all these different platforms, even if you don't know how to use them, the fact that you're building them and even starting to get on them and try to work is helping with building your personal brand. If you're not putting yourself out there, you're not going to get seen. I always say that. So as your fan base grows, I don't like to call it your fan base. I like to call it like your clientele. Or as your clients or your client list grows, the more you'll be featured in like media outlets, blogs, people will start calling you to do certain features on different things, on particular subjects that you may be good in. And you'll start getting other companies reaching out to you to do features or to do tutorials or just to talk to their fan base about the things that you do. And you'll start generating a lot of media requests. And all of a sudden, you'll be like, where is this coming from? People are seeing what you're doing. So, the more you're also featured in these media outlets, the more opportunities that you'll have to speak in front of crowds and to get your message out there. It also gives you a chance to practice and work with public speaking. Conference organizers are always looking for well known media personalities to speak. People are looking for people who aren't big to speak at certain events. You have to just get out there and brand yourself and get your brand out there. So the truth is that building your personal brand and building your platform, it goes hand in hand. As your personal brand grows stronger, your platform will get bigger. Like I said, I started building mine. I started getting requests and getting different referrals to different agencies, different things to partner with. Like all of this just goes hand in hand. So as your brand grows stronger, your platform will get bigger, which then will make your brand stronger. And building your brand is like a cycle. It brings greater results the bigger that you get. The bigger you get, the more people start reaching out, the bigger the payouts, the bigger the partnerships, the bigger the sponsorships. And it also shapes the content you share. After you start building your personal brand, it also makes you take a look and a step back at the things that you're sharing and the things that you're talking about. Have you ever stepped back and you know how Facebook pops up sometimes and shows you the Facebook memories of how you used to post and the things that you used to share like years ago? And sometimes have you ever been like, dang, I was really that person. I used to talk like that. It's the same. Like if you don't have a strong personal brand, then you don't have any guidelines as to what content you should share to your audience. And so you end up either sharing nothing or whatever catches your eye that you may think may be interesting, but to your audience, it may not be. So neither of these strategies contribute to your personal brand, But when you have a strong personal brand, it guides you towards exactly what kinds of content that you should start sharing. It makes you remap and regroup, and your content just gets better as your brand gets bigger and you start learning and growing and learning new skills. Your content that you share also gets better and bigger. You should only really share the content that aligns with your brand. I talk to a lot of the people that I work to a lot, and some of them listen to me, some of them don't. I talk about the things that you should post and how you should carry yourself on and offline. It's really, people look at you, and brands search through your profiles with you not knowing. Sometimes you, like I said, whether you want to or you're not, you're building a personal brand, especially if you have a business. There are people that look at your profile that you may have not even thought of, that will be interested in the things that you're doing, and they just glanced at your page or your business profile and may have saw something on there that didn't align with what you're promoting and the values of your personal brand, and they'll turn you down or you'll miss an opportunity. So you should share content that aligns with and promotes the values of your personal brand. A meme, like, it might be funny, but if it doesn't add to your personal brand, then you shouldn't share it. Like, it may be funny to you, or it may be funny to, you may think it's funny to your audience, but it may not be. So like I said, if it's not in tune with your brand, or it's not really sharing those same values that you do, then don't share it. Like, kind of clean up your page, clean up your business page, clean up a lot of the things that you share. And people connect better with other people than they do with companies. So start branding yourself, like putting yourself in a lot of your content, a lot of your videos, the how-to videos you share, tutorials, drop on your page sometimes and just do a live just to say hi and share with your audience what you have going on. They build a stronger connection with you more than they do like your company. Both in person and online, I mentioned that a lot. People will be attracted to your values, your personality, your convictions, and the insights you have to offer. They watch you both on and offline. Just always have a mental note of that. The more connected you are, the more business opportunities that present themselves, the more speaking requests you get, the more media opportunities, and also you get the opportunity to partner with other like-minded individuals. So always just be conscious of what you're doing on and offline. There are some significant benefits to begin as an influencer. Your personal branding allows you to become an influencer, and an influencer is someone who significantly shapes the opinions of their followers and has a big influence on how they behave. Big brands want to work with influencers. That's why they have a large audience. You don't have to have a large audience to start working with some of these big name brands, which can result in more revenue, more cash for you. So you'll often receive things from companies who are interested in partnering with you. They'll send you free gifts. I started, before I used to fill out for like this online, you'll see this thing and you'll get free products from here. But now I have people reaching out to me that send me free stuff to just do an honest review. And it's products that I actually like using and that I use myself. You'll also receive media requests to speak or just to attend events. Right now, the COVID is going on, so a lot of things are being online, but you still get out a lot of requests to do those things. Are you starting to see the power of a personal brand and what your personal brand can do for you and the value that a personal brand has? Your personal brand enables you to distinguish yourself from the competition. It also allows you to charge a premium price for your services. The more you focus on your personal brand, the more visible you become, and the more you become known as an expert in your field. The more you're known as an expert, and the more opportunities start coming your way. So the more you build your personal brand, the more you connect with others, which in turns is more business for you. So if you keep those three things in mind, it will continue to help you build your brand. We're going to talk about how to build a personal brand. There's a few more powerful things than your personal brand, but we're not going to get into that right now. The more you focus on building it, the greater the results you see. Say you want to start building a website, or you're starting to work with someone building a website. This is a checklist that helps you where you can kind of get started and give you step-by-step tips, and also a social media checklist to check off what platforms you should be utilizing right now, how to use them, how to get set up. Now that you know what a personal brand is and why you should build a personal brand, we're going to talk about how to actually do it. And we're going to break this down into individual strategies that you can use to build your own incredibly powerful personal brand. It's so many different breakdown and segments of it. And you have to make sure that your brand is consistent, like on all of your platforms. First thing that you would want to do is determine who you really are. Like, have you asked yourself, like, who am I? What do I really want to do? You have to remember that building your personal brand is about sharing your authentic self with the world. So your personal brand is built upon your skills, your passions, your values, and beliefs. So you got to know yourself and what you believe, what you feel, your values before you can actually build a strong personal brand. So think about those things. And I also want you to ask yourself these questions. And when you answer these questions, the answers to these questions should shape the way you start building your personal brand or the way that you think about it. They should help you get to the core of what matters the most to you and how you can add value to your audience. So I want you to ask yourself these questions. What unique skills do I have? And what are my core values? Like, what are the things that I believe in? Like, what matters and what do I value the most? And what am I most passionate about? And what's your unique experience that have shaped who you are? Like, what things have you went through that were like totally unique to you that have shaped to help you build the person that you are? And then how can you most effectively serve your core audience, like your core, the people that you serve in the field that you're in? How can you effectively serve them? Think about that. What can you do to effectively help them or serve them? And then what do you have to offer in your business or with your brand that nobody else can? What can you do that nobody else can do that makes you unique? Step 2, you're going to determine what you actually want to accomplish. So once you've identified the core, like who you are, what you believe in, like your core values, it's time to think about what you want to accomplish as your personal brand or with your personal brand. What do you want to do with it? Are you building a personal brand to distinguish yourself as an expertise? Are you building your personal brand to start building partnerships with other known companies? Are you building your personal brand for more business opportunities? Are you building it for more income streams? Like, what are your main reasons for wanting to build a personal brand? And then I'd also like you to answer these questions. All of this is going to be something that you can do on your own time, to go back and look and ask yourself these questions, because this is an important part of helping you start building your brand. So, what you like to accomplish both personally and professionally, and what do you want to be known for? Like, when all else fails, ask yourself this question: if I could be the world's foremost expert on a topic, what would it be? If you could be known as an expert for any topic, what would it be? What key message do you want to communicate? What message do you want to communicate? When people, they're coming to see you, they know that they're get what message are you communicating? And if I could give only one piece of advice, what would it be? Ask yourself those questions for me. And like I said, if you didn't catch the questions, there will be a link to this. In step 3, you want to identify your target audience. The simple reality is that you can't effectively serve everyone. My mentor told me this. I started a nonprofit. And it's like I was all over the place with it. Like I want to serve children, families, moms, dads. She was like, Shereitta, you can't serve everybody. You have to you have to pick one, like a core demographic, like your core audience, and that's what you have to identify. Like, who is your target audience? Who are your people? Who are your people going to be? And then you want to make sure that those people, your target audience, is the core demographic of people who will resonate deeply with what you have to offer, your brand, and what you offer. Your core demographic, if anyone doesn't know what that means, it's the people who you serve and who are your best ideal clients, like the people who they're looking for you, but they just haven't found you yet. That's your core demographic. To identify your core audience, you'll ask yourself these questions: who can I most effectively help? Who will benefit most from your skill set and from your knowledge that you have to back those skills up? Who are you most passionate about serving? I'm passionate about serving I always say everyone, like anyone who wants what I have to offer. Who will resonate most with me and my brand? You'll hear that a lot. Like, that's your core audience. Who will resonate with you more? Like, you wouldn't have to explain. They want your services. They've been looking for somebody like you, with your personality, with your characteristics, with your values, everything, your skills. They found you and they resonate with you. So when determining your core audience, it can be helpful to create a persona which represents your ideal client. So you'll want to include the following information in your persona. Your demographics will be how old they are, if they're male, female, single, married, and what is their level of education. And then also what career they're in and how much do they make. That can also help you weed out if they're even able to afford your services. Kind of helps you pick who you can work with and helps you set them apart to see if they fit into your core audience. What obstacles do they face, like with their hair, with their nails, with their business? If you're a business consultant, you want to know what obstacles they face that you can help them with. Their hopes and dreams, like what do they want their future like? What does it look like? Why haven't they been able to reach that or find that? Find out what challenges they have, like what were they missing from their previous interactions to where you can fill in and fill that gap. Single but powerful statement, like your USP. That describes exactly what you do for your audience. And that's where you take all the answers from those previous 3 points and all those questions. Step four would be to determine your unique selling proposition, which we like to call a USP. So your USP is simply your brand summed up, and to go back and take the answers from those questions and you'll put those together in one brand statement, and that sums up who you are personally and how you see your core audience. And that helps you build your USP, which is your unique selling proposition. So it's basically like I help target, let's say for instance, I'm going to give you an example of what a USP is. So I help target person to achieve X so that they can, and then whatever the outcome is. So for example, a USP sounds something like this: I help working moms stay on top of everything and live a fulfilled life. Or me, I use this one: I help entrepreneurs scale their businesses over 6 figures per year so they can live a life of freedom. Or it may sound something similar to this one I looked up. Or I help men incredibly productive so that they have more time to spend with their friends and families. So that's basically what a USP is. It's a quick, short, but sweet definition of who you are, what you do, how you help your audience, and what's the outcome they can get when they work with you. So when they look at your profile, that's kind of like your introduction They can see it, and it all sums up everything you do into one. That's a part of building your personal brand. You want it to stick into people's mind. Like when they think of you, they think of your USP too. Oh, she helps. But it should get right to the heart of who you are and how you help your audience. So it may help to give your USP like a unique name that sticks in people's minds. For example, in your USP, it doesn't have to say everything about your brand. Like I said, it's like quick. One of the examples that I used was if you teach men how to be more productive, you could call your USP the power productivity formula. Or, like me, if you help entrepreneurs scale their businesses, you can call it something like scale without fail. Or it just simply needs to be something short, memorable, and it describes exactly what you do, how you can help them, and what the outcome will be with them either using your service or buying a product for you. And don't skip on this step. I'm trying to tell you, do not skip. Creating your USP gives you a high degree of clarity about what your brand is all about. And it helps. It really helps. I had to redo, I think it was my LinkedIn page the other day. So on mine, it says, I create possibilities helping you to build your brand and design success. And that's mine. It took me like maybe 3 or 4 days to come up with it, but I kind of tweaked some of those things. I answered those same questions that you're going to ask yourself, and I came up with that. So I create possibilities, helping you to build your brand and design success. So it doesn't box me into one area. I'm letting you know that I help create possibilities. I help you build your brand. I help you design, whether it be your website, your life, like whatever the case may be, but I help you design success. So that's my USB. Step number 5, which is you want to start treating yourself like a brand. And when I say start treating yourself as a brand, once you've identified your core, like the core of your brand, as well as your target audience, it's time to start treating yourself as a brand. You're out in the grocery store, when you're out and about, or you're just communicating and talking to somebody, stay true to your brand message. When I say start treating yourself as a brand, in every communication with your audience, with Facebook, and every communication, like I said, whether it's social media, stay true to your brand. You constantly speak about the problems that you solve, constantly encourage your audience, constantly voice the message of your brand. Just like Nike, they wouldn't suddenly start talking about going out to eat, so you can't go off brand with your communications. Nike is always talking about their shoes that have a campaign around something like running or something dealing with the brand message being on the shoes. You can't go off a brand with your communications. You got to constantly reinforce your unique selling proposition, which is your USP. I create possibilities while helping you build your brand and designing success. So constantly reinforce your selling proposition in everything that you do. Everything. When I tell you everything, because you'll be surprised. You can be out in the store, at the grocery store, talking to somebody about something. 2 weeks ago, I was at Walmart and I was talking to this lady. She was ringing me up at the cash register, as a matter of fact, and she had on some press on nails. And I was like, "Oh, those are cute." She was like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do those on the side. Like I do press on nails," and just talking about myself, my brand. She was like, "Really? Can I see some of your work?" I showed her, and I gained another customer client. I was talking about myself, building my brand outside of me being online. So no matter where you are, always constantly reinforce your unique selling proposition, your USB, in everything you do. You know, click that straight little sentence to them. Tell them about what you do, and it's gonna intrigue them. Like, oh yeah, what is that? They're gonna ask questions and want to know what it is that you do. So it also means creating a strong, compelling website. That's a whole nother webinar or conversation, but this is going to serve as your home base for your online activities. So it means creating a media page or a media kit on your site for media inquiries. Well, that means when people go to your website, that your brand is done started building, you popping, You always want to have a section on your website for them to contact you for media requests. Media requests are show up for live events, do podcasts and show hosts, radio, talk shows, anything, but you want to have a spot on your page for your media request or your media kit. It could mean not answering emails yourself, but having an assistant answer them for you, or having it on auto response. So whenever someone's reaching out to you about networking or doing a branding event with you, you're always able to respond. Your goal is to always portray yourself as a strong, compelling brand, not just a normal person. So you have to treat yourself like you truly are, like a powerful brand. The way you talk about it, you show up like that. Your powerful brand is your powerful message. Now we're moving on to step 6 is optimizing your website. It's time to get into the nitty gritty of what optimizing your online presence is so that it matches your brand. Like I said, you want your brand to be consistent through like everything that you do. Your website is one of the primary places that people go to know who you are and what you do. So your website is always online, right? When you sleeping, people clicking on different links or searching things. This is like the primary spot, your website, or where people are going to go to check you out, see your credentials, learn about different things that you do. And your website also functions as one of the primary ways for you to turn your visitors into paying clients. And it has to be optimized that way. So, whoever you're getting to build your website, or if you're setting it up yourself, make sure that you're setting your website up for success, to where when they're going on there and they're looking at these different things, that this is converting your website visitors into paid clients, or they're actually inquiring about your service, because your first impressions are really like the most important when it comes to your website or when it comes to anything. How do you optimize your site to reflect your brand? I'm going to talk to you about that too. Your visitors should always be able to immediately determine if you can help them solve their problem. So on that first click on your website, on your first homepage, that should let them know if it's worth clicking off or staying on and going and finding someone else who does the same thing that you do, but they might have something unique or different on theirs that caught their attention, or that stuck in their mind, that resonated with them, that made them bypass you and go get that service with someone else. So if they can't, there's a good chance they'll leave, like I said. So you have to make sure that your website is set up for success. Have a professional logo design. Having a professional logo shows people that you're serious about what you do. You treat yourself as a brand. Like, you're not just someone saying, "Hey, I have a business. I created this jingle jangle." Like, you have a professional logo. So if you wish to hire someone to design a logo for you, there are freelancer places like Fiverr, Upwork, and then I also do them as well for anyone who's inquiring about that. I'll leave a link for that as well. But always make sure you invest in getting a professional logo done. You want to show off your USP. Your unique selling proposition should be like main focus on your website. Try it and you're going to see like the reaction that you get. You have to show off your USP. From the moment they arrive on your website, they need to see, hey, I create possibilities. I'm helping you achieve your skills, and I'm helping you build success. If you want to get a sustainable, profitable business, then you've arrived at the right spot. I mean, say something that's going to click in their mind to make them stay on your website. Your visitors should always see your USP. It's going to draw them into your site and make them want to investigate more about who you are and what you do. Trust me, it works. So ideally, your USP will be front and center on your website. It's like your introduction, and it should be front and center at the top of your website, so that it's one of, if it's not the first thing that people see. It should be like impossible for them to miss that. It should be like your headline, or like a newspaper. You know how a newspaper has the headline in big letters? That's how your USP should be on your website. It should draw their attention to it immediately upon clicking on your website. If it's not, then you should regroup and redo your website. And then also make sure you're using professional photos. Have a professional photographer. If you can't do that, use your phone. Phones take perfectly good photos, and they have apps now that you can use to erase the background in them. So if you have a picture that you took that it was professional, but your background just wasn't good enough, you can use, there's a free app called Canva, but I think the background remover part is only on the paid version. You can get them. There's also other apps that you can research and find those on as well. And also use testimonials. If you've done some different services and you have good feedback from different clients or different people who use your services, those testimonials are proof that you really can solve people's problems and you know what you're doing. They also help overcome hesitance and objections. So, also, if you've been featured in any media outlets, show off those credentials. Show that on your website. Put those logos, put those tags, put all of that. Show off your stuff. And present a clear call to action. You're always going to want to make sure you have a call to action at the bottom. Ultimately, you want people to take action when they're on your website. You want them to join your email. You want them to watch your webinar or sign up for a free consultation. You give visitors a free and a clear call to action. You want to create a compelling about page, and you want to tell your story. How do you get where you currently are? What motivates you to serve your audience? And why do you do what you do? Also, you want to have a service page in which you explain what you offer, any information that's important to your audience. Give away free resources. People always, I know, they like, people like free stuff. That's just like one of the best ways to build your brand is to give away free content on your website. This could be anything from blog posts to videos to an ebook. Just giving away content in exchange for a visitor's email is also a fantastic way to grow your email list. So say you got a new service coming up or a new product, this you can send out to these people that you've built your email list with. And step 7 would be to develop your content strategy. Obviously, you want a way for people to get in touch with you, right? So this will help primarily through your contact page on your website. You'll develop your content strategy. The primary way to build your brand is by creating strategic content. And by content, I mean blog posts, videos, social media posts, emails, affirmations, podcasts, and like so much more. You can get creative with it. Every piece of content you share with your audience should serve to build your brand. Like I mentioned earlier, if it doesn't resonate with your brand, then do not share it. Once you determine what your brand is, it's important to start treating yourself as a brand. Everything you do, you include, you are your brand. So you include yourself, you promote, you talk about it, you advocate for it, and mention your USP. Strategic content strategy is one of the most effective ways to ensure that you're constantly staying on brand. One effective content strategy is the pillar method. It works like this: set interviews like every day, every week, etc. You're going to create a longer piece of pillar content. This could be a blog post, a video, a tutorial, any item that works well. The point is that it needs to be on the longer side so that it can be repurposed in numerous ways. Like you could use the content for different things. So the pillar content should always reinforce some part of your brand. Maybe one day you speak to a particular pain point, and then another day you encourage your audience to strive for their goals. And then, whatever the case, it's the essential that your pillar content always be tied back to your brand. Like whatever it is, make sure it's always tying things back to your brand or rerouting them back to you or your brand. A set interviews create a longer piece of pillar content. So you publish your pillar content on your primary platform, which could be Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever it may be, or your website, YouTube, whatever. You take your content and then you cut it up into smaller, shareable pieces of content. For example, let's say you have a 10-minute video and then you find 3 parts of that video that could be shared on their own and extract those clips. So if you have 1,000 word blog post, you will extract five 100 word experts and then stand those on their own. Like you're taking those different contents, those video tutorials of how to maintain a hairstyle or how to do this, you're taking them and you're breaking those up into smaller pieces of content that you can repurpose and continue using. Once you've created your smaller pieces of content, what you're going to do is post those across all of your channels, including Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, email. You get the point, right? If you thought about posting to so many social media channels intimidates you, there's a social media schedule that Facebook has that's free that you can use to auto schedule these things. You can take one day and take maybe like 30 minutes and then auto schedule your post for the week. So you're not struggling every day to figure out how to post something. And this is still based and geared towards your brand. And if you've ever gotten a website created by me or are in the lookings for getting one created by me, the platform that I use integrates all of these things as well. So you can do it on one platform. So you just put the content in and then select all the channels you want it to go out to. And then boom, you're done. You just repeat the process again, again, and again. Consistency is the key. And by consistency, you're consistently sharing your brand message and you'll steadily build your audience. So it could be times where you're not even posting or you're not on Facebook or you're busy with something else. You're consistent because you schedule this or you have a built-in auto schedule where it's consistently showing up for your brand and you're getting clients or you're getting messages and inquiries about your service. And all of this can be maintained by using the pillar method. So for your content strategy, you ensure that every piece of content that you post is always on brand. Your Facebook posts, your Instagram videos, your blog posts, YouTube videos, and emails, they're always speaking your brand message to your audience. In addition to using the pillar method, you can also simply repurpose content in different formats. Meaning, for example, you could turn a ebook into a slideshare, or you could turn a slideshare presentation into a video, or you could turn a series of videos into a blog post, or you can turn videos into an ebook. Like all of this is just repurposing your content. Or you could turn a video tutorial into a blog post, into an email that you can send out to your list. It's like the main point is that everything you send out, it should be brand related so you can repurpose it. And you want to constantly reinforce your brand to your audience. Anything, the colors, like everything you're doing, your brand should be consistent across all platforms. If anybody hasn't told you today, then I want you to know the best gift is always you. You want to consistently add value to your audience, and that value is always going to be you. When it comes to building your brand, it's essential that you consistently and that you're constantly giving value to your audience without asking them for anything in return. Yes, there's going to be times when you invite people to buy from you or they become a client of yours, but you don't want the main thing of your brand to always be like she just want money or he just want money, or you don't want that just to be the main point of your service. You want to add value, something that's going to always keep them coming back to you. The main thing people should take away when interacting with your brand is how much value you have or how much value you provide. And the main way you're going to be providing value is through your content strategy, like what you share, what tips, what tools do you provide to your clients, to your audience after they came to one of your lectures or they came and got on one of your services. What value are you providing? This is why it's so important to constantly put out new content. Also, if you're not putting out new content, you're not giving away value. You taking their money. You're not giving away any value. You're not giving away anything for them to come back for. Step 9 would be start building a community. Some of you probably have already started. If you haven't, one of the best ways To build your brand is to build a community where you and your members can all help each other. And so the value in building a community around your brand is that it gets others involved in helping to promote your brand. You get that? Like you got a group of people that's your squad, like they show up for you because you show up for them. So they're constantly promoting everything that you do. You create a tribe of passionate people who care about the same things that you do and who value your services. So you're probably saying, how can you build one? And there's simple ways to do that. Like I said, some of you probably have already started some around your brand or your business, which we all know the first one would be to start a private Facebook group. And I'm pretty sure if you have a business that a lot of you have already done that. And in this group, this is where people can interact with each other. They can share ideas. They can interact with you. You can ask questions. You can do polls. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do within your own private Facebook group. And this also gives you the opportunity to have meaningful conversations with your tribe on a daily basis. You can host live events inside of your Facebook group. This allows you to meet your members, meet some of your clients. If you haven't already, you can meet potential clients. You do workshops or teaching them how to do a certain skill or how to maintain something. You can do mastermind groups, private dinners, like it's all kind of things you can do with these Facebook groups. This way it deepens your relationship with them. This is their spot where they know they have constant communication or some type of way into your life. Also create a membership on your website or on your site, some type of membership for your clients or for your community. For a small monthly fee, you can give exclusive access to something to you or to the content that you provide. You can also give them access to things like group calls every month or private one-on-one calls about how to maintain something or different tips, anything. Just get creative with it. This is just another stream of income for you. You can do ongoing webinars in a forum where they can interact with you and other members. I mean, the possibilities are endless with the Facebook and creating membership sites. So we've talked. Now it's time to get into how to build your brand. It's the simple truth is you have a personal brand already, whether you want to or not. Every single thing you do, you share with your audience, either adds to or it takes away from your personal brand. So you absolutely must be intentional about building your brand. We all have a personal brand, whether we think about it that way or not. So let's be intentional about it. If you're intentional about it, your brand is going to take off and I mean skyrocket. Here's a quick summary of how to build your brand. You're going to identify what matters to you most, define your core audience, and you want to determine your unique selling proposition, treat yourself like a brand, and create a compelling website. Also, plan your content strategy and constantly bring your best self to your audience. Always show up. You are your brand and build your community. If you've already started, awesome, amazing job. Keep going. Keep building your community around your brand. The more you do these things, the more you attract like your audience. These are your fans, these are your people, like your tribe. And the more you do this, the more you build your brand and the more you attract these people. So avoid waiting any longer to start building your personal brand. If you are stalling or you're still questioning yourself, you need to get started today because your audience, your people, they need you. People, they need you. There's people out there who are looking for what you provide. You're coming up with different things like every day. You have all these creative ideas. Start building your brand. Start showing up. Start showing you. Get out there and just start serving them. I promise you, you'll be glad that you did. You'll be glad that you didn't waste a second. You didn't think about it any longer. You'll be glad. I want to invite you to book a free consultation with me. There's absolutely zero obligation or risk for the phone call. What we'll do is we'll hop on the phone call together. We'll analyze your brand. I'll talk about the strengths and your weaknesses. And then we'll produce a strategy for you to help you start creating your powerful brand. I'll work with you. We'll work together to create a powerful personal brand and then a brand that you can be proud of. I know you're like, I still don't know where to start. Just book that call with me. I will help you get started. Your brand attracts your ideal client again and again. It's what makes people say, I trust her. I trust him because he's an expert or she knows what she's doing. Like, I trust them. So, like I said, this phone call is absolutely free with zero obligations. You got nothing to lose and you got everything to gain. You know, it's people out there with less qualifications, less skills than you. And I mean, they're taking their brands to amazing heights right now. So don't wait any longer to build your brand. Remember, your brand is being built whether you want it to or not. But the question is whether you're in control of the process. So let's work together to ensure that you're totally in control of your brand building. And I look forward to you joining me. Again, I want to thank you all for taking this good hour and 20 minutes out with me today. I will leave links into all the information that we talked about. You will get brand building worksheet, a social media checklist, a website checklist, PDF document of this whole webinar so you can go back and check for references and a lot of stuff that wasn't on here you'll find in the slides too. Thanks again for joining me and I can't wait to see you build your personal brand and become the amazing influencer that I know that you are.